I am welcoming Rose A. Weinberg, a candidate for Ward 4. Hello, Rose.
Hello, Marge. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this with you.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you can participate. Rose, I'm looking forward to hearing the responses to some questions I've sent you. I'm asking you to respond to each question within 2 minutes. Our first question: how would you describe the value of our heritage, and how would you like to see Richmond Hill's 150th anniversary celebrated next year?
Oh, thank you. That's an awesome question. I find the value in that celebration so spectacular because it gives us the opportunity to really bring Richmond Hill together, especially post-COVID. It'll be a full year after, and we'll be able to come together. I think that the value, and there's an education part to all of this, like really not just to those of us who know a lot about the background of Richmond Hill, but to the newcomers. And also I would like to see this actually spread across Ontario to let people know that we are celebrating, bring it in as a destination place. At that point, we have new council on staff, and we have everybody coming together and bringing like a new energy, a new way of showing who Richmond Hill is, and even bringing back Rosetown, about Rosetown, Richmond Hill, right, going back to the beginning. I'd love to see this, if it is possible, somewhere in, since we don't have the new city hall yet, that area, but I'd love to see this in the old part of Richmond Hill on Yonge Street. So we do have to work towards getting that a little bit ready to have this type of celebration there. Obviously spending is, have a budget, but really bring back, having everybody we can, bringing back exactly the education of true Richmond Hill, but then bringing that forward into who we are today and pulling that all together. I think this is the most ideal thing that can happen for Richmond Hill right now.
Very good. Okay, second question, which is a couple different questions related together. The majority of Richmond Hill residents are very car dependent. This has us with a large carbon footprint, thus contributing to the degradation of our environment. Do you see us resign to live like this? Would you support changes to municipal zoning rules to permit non-residential uses in areas that are now strictly residential? Should new subdivisions be designed differently?
That's definitely several questions within one big question. So to bring in what my view is on this, or my position is on all this, we obviously are waiting very, I guess, patiently, or we've been resigned to know that the subway's not coming for a while. Yes, it's coming, but that's not coming for a while. We know we have the GO Transit here, but it's about, can people walk to it? Can people find parking within a range, again, to walk? So less carbon footprint getting to those opportunities, but we don't really have those opportunities yet. A lot of people have to go, I've heard this from residents, and I know personally, to go over to use the Maple GO train. So therefore I'm driving there. I'd like to touch on the whole idea of walking. So there's a lot of unsafe walking areas in Richmond Hill, specifically in Ward 4. So if some people want to walk to shop, some people want to walk for a coffee, it's not that far, but is it safe to do that throughout the seasons outside of a snowstorm or a rainstorm? I say no. But if we get that fixed up, if we get that looked at, those are I know they cost money, but they're kind of simple fixes that are really important fixes to say, hey, people, you don't have to drive every time you want to go for a coffee or a cup of tea. You don't have to drive every time you want to go to the theater. I'm in walking distance of the theater. The lighting needs to change. So I have that's my short view of a very big question that you're asking. As for new development, I think there's a lot of new ideas that can come forward. I'd have to really study that to get better at answering that. And hopefully as I'm on council, I'd like to be part of that conversation.
Okay, very good, Rose. Thank you. Third question: what do you see as Richmond Hill's vulnerabilities?
A few things. One is our view, others' view, so others meaning other municipalities, other cities, towns of Richmond Hill right now at the present. what's been going on over the last few years, particularly the last, well, yeah, it's over the last few years of what's happening on council. It does get into the media. We know that. I think that those are vulnerable places for, let's say, when big business wants to come in and maybe find proper land space to build something and bring that to Richmond Hill to have and to build jobs for others for around here, and other and universities and colleges maybe to do satellite areas here, satellite offices here. I think that the vulnerability is what's going on in council, so in the government, what's going on in the view of how are we able to keep our housing affordable, and also building our housing. There's a lot, we're high taxed, we're high. So when people are talking Richmond Hill, it's, oh, you live in an area where the taxes are so high. So there's a negativity as opposed to saying, but Richmond Hill is like the best place to live because I'm like, I've been here forever and raising your family here is great. Well, what about the safety? So safety is a big issue of what's going on here. I know it's going on everywhere, but it is a big issue of what's going on here. And people, every time I door knock, it's the first thing when they open the door and they find out I'm running, talking about safety and talking about the crime and what's going on in Richmond Hill. So those are the big things.
Good, thank you. Fourth question. Imagine there was a lottery for municipalities and Richmond Hill won $50 million. How would you like to see it spent?
I love that question. And I've put some thought into that. So, the first thing you're thinking, place for the homeless, okay? But one area I really like to see budgeting, and I do want that taken care of 100%. One place I'd like to see budgeting is that every resident that needs a little bit of fixing on their roads or their sidewalks or something, or lighting, where I'm walking the streets now and I'm hearing that something's not being fixed, and they're being told by the city that there's no budget to fix it this year. And they've been told that for the last 3 years. I would like to see whether it's, I don't know if that's all 50 million, because it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when we're talking a big, beautiful city like Richmond Hill. But I'd love to see that there becomes a committee that literally reaches out and finds out all these little things. The trees on the boulevards, there's so many dying trees. And I know that that's an expense that I'm sure it's within a budget of some form. So that $50 million, even though we'd be using it for something that the city should be doing anyways, right now, if we got that money, that would be my push to make it safer and to make it more, to beautify the city, but really make it safer for the residents. And that doesn't, I'm not just speaking on the seasoned Richmond Hill residents. I'm speaking for everybody pushing their baby strollers as well. Just wanted to make that clear.
Very good. Okay. We'll move into the second part of our candidate conversations. We have 7 fun facts about the candidates. You to answer quickly and with a smile. Okay. Are you a tea or coffee drinker?
I am a matcha tea drinker and I love it.
Okay. Do you prefer ebooks or real books?
I prefer the touch and feel of a real book. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you say ketchup or ketchup?
I say ketchup proudly.
Okay. Okay. What is your ideal place for a vacation?
Oh, anywhere there is a really beautiful beach. Hands down. Yeah.
That's very good. Do you have a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
Okay.
I'm a
What
Mac
is your
girl.
What is your favorite vegetable?
Oh, interesting. I like, well, I love all vegetables, but my favorite vegetable is romaine lettuce, cucumber, and zucchini. It's in every meal. It's in every meal.
Every meal. Okay.
Every meal. Yeah.
Last question. Have you ever played pickleball?
I have not played pickleball. I'm a martial arts person and I love to walk. So, but I have not tried pickleball, and now I'm thinking it's something to try.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rose. I enjoyed hearing your responses. I wish you well with the campaign. I hope to see you around the city soon.
You got it, Marge. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Take care.
You too.